All right, looks like everyone is here. Thank you all for joining us for our community conversation, Engaging Students with Open Education. My name is Bailey Lake, and I am the Open Strategies Librarian at Eastern Kentucky University, and I'm a member of the OEN Steering Committee. We are excited to dive into this topic with you today. And to begin, we just want to know what's one new thing that you've learned this Open Education Week? And while we wait for those answers to trickle in, we have a few ground rules outlined here. Whoops. There's the prompt. We have a few ground rules outlined here to ensure a welcome space for discussion. We'd also like to note that the beginning of today's session will be recorded, and we will end the recording before our group discussions. Automatic captioning is also available. All right. Thank you all for introducing yourselves. Welcome, welcome. Anybody learned anything interesting this week? Go ahead and put that in the chat, please. Ooh, okay. Laurie says hosting communities of practice with her OER grant awardees. Yeah, excellent. Student creators and adapters of OER can have a great work ethic. Excellent. Yeah, Kelly's learned so many things, she cannot even pick one. Amanda learned it's hard to fit in additional programming on top of all the other things. I learned that as well. Ooh, Miletta's learning how to edit books and press books. Very cool. Okay. About AI infrastructure. Yes. Robin learned about building automaticity. That's a hard word to pronounce. Very cool. I learned a lot about AI this week as well. Yeah. Authorship is complicated. Definitely. Okay. Perfect. Thank you all very much for sharing and your input. Before we hand it over to, oh, here's the ground rule. Sorry, I'm doing slides and trying to facilitate, so please forgive me if I'm a little off here. Here is our agenda. We will have a quick welcome, which is what we're doing now. And then from 12:05 to 12:20, we'll hear from our contributor panel. And then at 12:20, we will stick to some breakout rooms and have small group discussions. And these will be divided up by the type of student engagement that you're interested in. So as our presenters present, think about that. And then at 12:35, we will come back together to debrief as a community, and then we'll end the session with some closing remarks. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our contributors. Lydia Grote from the Affordable Learning Coordinator and Social Sciences Librarian from the University of Louisville. Corey Curl, a lecturer and director of undergraduate studies at the University of Kentucky. And Sophia Lopez from Miami-Dade College. All right, so Lydia, take it away.
All right, can everybody hear me? Today I'll be talking about our Student Government Association and Affordable Learning and OER group collaboration. And while I'm doing it, please type in the chat what, if any, type of collaboration you have with your students, with your Student Government Association. I look forward to learning, expanding my program, sharing with each other. Next slide. My name is Lydia Grote. As Bailey mentioned, I'm Affordable Learning Coordinator, Social Sciences Librarian at the University of Louisville. Next slide. And I have been running the program since its inception in 2023. We've started around the end of the spring semester, and a couple of good things we've done is we formed a group that incorporates people from around the campus. We have people from Provost Office, Student Success Center, Teaching and Learning Center, all of the libraries, and of course from our Student Government Association. We've had 2 representatives with us since the fall of 2023. It's like continual engagement and it has been great. Next slide. And What seems to be working well is our representation is by the positions within Student Government Association, not necessarily by like a specific person. So if you are elected academic vice president, part of the thing you're going to do is you're going to be a full-time member of our Affordable Learning and OER initiative. You're going to come to the meetings or send a proxy if you can't make it. And and so we have one undergraduate academic vice presidents. Those are people who are responsible for academic side of the SGA work, and graduate student council. So we have undergraduate and graduate representation, and it's built in at the beginning. I kind of onboard them. We meet. I talk about what has been done, what their predecessors did, and then listen to them about what they want to do next. Next slide. And nice thing about the SGA is they really are everywhere. They are integrated in the faculty senate. They write a report from SGA for every monthly faculty senate meetings, and sometimes, actually quite a bit of times, it includes information about OER and Affordable Learning Initiative, which is really helpful. They also work with provost office and other offices on campus. They're on board of trustees, so it it helps to get the word out and to have them in. Next slide. Okay, so this is sort of the most exciting kind of an overview of what we have done together. Our Student Government Association has passed 2 resolutions encouraging the use of open educational and affordable learning resources. So basically, they're saying if you can find open textbooks, OERs, that's great. But if not, at least consider the price, older editions, or library resources when you are choosing your resources. And one wonderful thing they've done is they recognize that like university needs to support that effort. So they're not just saying like, hey, faculty, go and do more. They're saying, as an institution, if you want to support us, please support this initiatives. We have course notes that mark no cost, zero cost, and low cost 50 or less. Textbooks, and we kind of calculate based on average price of textbooks how much students are saving. And so we have our first $1 million savings party, fully sponsored by SGA, working with us, and they promoted it. You can see a picture of a dean with a ginormous check and a student SGA rep with them. And this year, the one is coming up next week. So basically, it's becoming an annual event, which is sort of fun, cake, balloons, giveaways type of thing for the students. And outreach, they've been absolutely incredible at promoting that initiative at different places on campus. Our current AVP from SGA actually reached out to every single dean and said like, hey, can I come in and talk for 5 minutes? I helped her put the presentation together, but it was her initiative, and things like that coming from students have a lot more impact than things like that coming from me. So it has been it has been great. And that's next slide. And if you have any questions, comments, anything, feel free to reach out via email or ask in the breakout room. And thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. Sounds like you had wonderful experiences with your student government.
Yes.
Yeah, a great success story. Okay, Corey.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. It's just a really, real pleasure to be here. And I'm so thankful to be connected now with the OEN. And I'm also just really delighted because I've gotten to meet Lydia and Bailey from Kentucky. And my students are very involved in Student Government Association. And so now I have all these great ideas. So you can go to the next slide, Bailey, please. So, just a little bit about me. So, I'm on faculty at the Martin School of Public Policy and Administration at UK. And we have a number now of undergraduate students. We started a new major in public policy in 2020, which was a lovely time to start new things. So, our first year, we only saw students on Zoom. But now we have about 80 students in the major, and another 50 or so who are pursuing a minor in public policy. And they're just really active, engaged students. We are a very small major at UK. We represent about 0.1% of the overall undergraduate population at UK, but about 28% of student government positions are our major. So they're really out there and they are doing a lot of writing, both in their work in organizations and other SGA and other organizations, but also in their internships. So a lot of our students are very successful getting internships in Congress, state legislatures, advocacy organizations, law firms, consulting firms, and they do a tremendous amount of writing memos, which we helpfully really work with them on it in classes. And so for me, I just have a really strong mission to help all of our students be as strong writers as they possibly can to help them once they are in these other positions. So I start with our students their very first semester. I teach our Introduction to Public Policy course, and then I have all of them in a class their sophomore year, I have all of them in a class their junior year, and then their senior year. I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to teach our capstone course that they teach in the fall of their senior year. And in this class, they are each individually producing a professional policy report. And in doing so, we focus a lot, not just on the research and data analysis and all of that stuff, but really helping them to build a practice of writing and revising often together. I focus very much in this class on community building. So again, we're a small major. We have each year about 15 to 20 students graduating. This is a photo of this fall's class. And so one of just the things that I do is on Wednesdays, we have writing lab and they all come and all they do is they write. And so they have an hour at least of every week where they all writing at the same time. And I really think that that community spirit has really lifted them up. And year after year, they tell me that this is the thing that they appreciate the most about the class is that opportunity to be together. So that said, I have really tried different ways of figuring out how to teach writing from this intro course all the way to the senior year, and have cobbled together different materials over the last few years that I've been on faculty and have never really found anything that really fits the bill for what I'm looking for my students. And so I'm really grateful for support from UK Libraries, from Stephen. I received our OER grant this past year, and so I'm working on a new resource called Policy Writing at the UK Martin School. So I am a huge advocate now of open pedagogy. I didn't know that until I started talking with Stephen and telling him about some of the ways that I structure my classes. And he's like, "You're doing open pedagogy." I'm like, "What is that?" And so now I'm so excited to know that I can learn from all of you about this as well. So I wanted to find a way as I developed this resource to integrate student voice into the process. And so one small thing that I've done so far is that I took my very first rough drafts. I often am showing them things that I do in process. I'm very vulnerable with them. I want to show them that I make mistakes so that they know that it's okay to make mistakes. And I gave them the draft, put them in small groups, and had them edit it and give me really honest feedback. And you can go to the next slide, please. And so they did, and I'm so happy because I think they trusted my process enough that they really tore it apart, which is what I was really hoping for. And so just a very few couple of things that they really pointed out to me. I really talked to them a lot about the need to avoid jargon. And in doing so, told them in this text, don't use haughty language, which haughty is one of my very favorite words in the whole world. And they hated that word. They did not know what it meant. And so every single group said, take that word out. And so I changed it to above their heads, the reader's heads. And that just cracks me up all the time. So they were telling me I wasn't even doing the things I was telling them to do. And then just another thing as well is I also note that there are times where we really do need to use jargon because in my case, I say it's more precise. And every single group told me that my use of the word precision was incorrect and that I should use the word accuracy. And I'm very sad about that because I love the word precise. I just love the way that it sounds. But it's actually not the right word to use. And so those are just very small examples, but they really felt invested in the process. And I feel really good knowing that they've been through it. And I also know now that they read it, the whole thing in class. So that was a really great experience for me. And I look forward to your questions and everything else. Thank you.
Wonderful, Corey. And the skills that they develop during that activity will last them their whole career. So that is wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you
All
all.
right. And now for Sophia.
Hi everyone. My name is Sofia Soler Lopez, and I was one of the graphic designers for a project called Art History in Student Voices. I work alongside Liam Blanco. We were both Miami-Dade College humanities students, and I'm here to share with you guys my perspective on developing OERs as a student. In the next slide, I want to share with you about Art History in Student Voices. It is a student-centered lens on the global story of art. It was intentionally crafted for student engagement, and over 300 Miami-Dade College students have developed at least one entry. All of the student voices are preserved and credited in this project, which is one of the most important parts about it. I want to share with you the structural design of the book and how that complements my experience as the graphic designer developing the visual design. So to have a book that was interactive and flexible, there are three main pathways: thematic entries, chronological approach, and geographic layout. Today, I'm going to be focusing on Volume 1, which is the thematic entries, and it invites people to trace 8 ideas across cultures and centuries. So for the visual design, we knew that we wanted to create something that was innovative, accessible, and loyal to the visual language of art. So we start with exhibition doors, each representing one theme. An example would be spirituality and religion. Once clicked, it takes you to a room of a museum-style type display that includes all of the corresponding artworks to certain themes. Once the visitor selects the artwork that they want to explore, it takes them to an artwork catalog that it's basically each individual student entry. So on the next slide, I want to share with you how, on the next slide, please. Oh, I don't know thank you. How the structural design and the visual design come together to basically make sure that the goal, collaboration, and desire to make art history more accessible gets fulfilled. So the open participation was the student contribution via the individual student entries, but for the visual design, it was what made us be able to refine all of the designs. So I included one example, which is the symbol that represented spirituality and religion. It was initially inspired by the praying hands emoji, but with faculty support, we designed something that was more accessible. Through the expert guidance, we were able to ensure accuracy in the text. And then for the graphic design, it helped us with the image selection. We had librarian support for the information literacy. And then for the graphic design, that means making sure that everything is following artwork copyright. And so I included an example of when we weren't able to include the actual image of certain artworks due to copyright issues. And so in order to be able to fix that issue, we pixelated the image and we included links to the official artist's website as well as the museum official website. We got the learning supports, which is things like vocabulary and references to deepen the understanding. And then for the graphic design, throughout the whole process, we included visual aids for the students. The project is friendly in terms of access. So for the text, it includes clear readability. And then for the visuals is making sure that everything follows accessibility guidelines. And so I included a little image of when we submitted all of the thumbnails into a colorblind simulator when we were considering involving more colors. And then last but not least, this is in an OER platform called LibreText. And it basically allowed us to have a free open learning access, which prevented us to stumble upon barriers like paywalls. And so we can grow it even more and accept more contributions from our students. And then it also allowed us to be able to fulfill this virtual customization that aligns with the goals of the project. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
Thank you so much, Sophia. So I am going to take over here and share my slide again before we head out into breakout rooms. But thank each of you in the meantime for all of the awesome information that you shared. Have a lovely weekend and so great to see you all here.